Hello, hello, hello. We're back again. All Leeds TV, opposition preview against Southampton. I'm glad to be joined by Jack from Matchday Vlogs. Check that out, guys. And Dan, the Saints View. How are you doing, fellas? I'll start with you first, Jack, because you are new to the channel.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to be here. That's nice to be out on a Sunday night. This is the closest thing to, actual connectivity with people I've had in a long time. So Let's do it.
Yeah, good. Glad you're here, man. Glad you're here.
Happy to talk about some football.
Good stuff. And Dan from the Saints View, who have just been on your channel, so check that out as well, guys. Quick little preview on Dan's channel as well. How are you doing, mate? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm decent.
Been a while. Well, it feels like a while since we last spoke, but it was only actually 3 months ago.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, what was it, end of February, so not that long ago at all. Yeah, I'm decent. I'm looking forward to the season to be over. I can't lie, but yeah, Saints have hit a bit of form, and who knows? We've got fans back on Tuesday night. We might get a nice result against you guys.
I don't know, John B. I don't know where Joe is tonight, and it's an interesting one, isn't it? Who is that on the top right now?
I'll tell you what, Oscar. Basically, lads, I've shaved my beard off. Like, I've had a beard for the last, I don't know, well, since my daughters were born, really. But I'll take this. I'll have that.
Yeah. It's a great look. I love it. I shaved a goatee in during lockdown, and my barber told me it was a mistake. So that's why I'm committing to go back, because I can't take those kind of insults.
Yeah. Or maybe this one, Uncle Fester. That's a bit harsh, Sean. That's a bit harsh. But yeah, there you go. It is a bit harsh.
It's well, this is a nice one as well off Charlie. That's a nice one off Charlie, isn't it, as well?
That is nice, yeah.
There you go. But
move on, please.
How you doing, man? You even got the Virgil Van Strauch top on. It's lovely.
He's that good.
Love that. Good. And where can you get that from, Joe?
You can get that from the All Leeds TV merch store, mate. So yeah, you can get that. You can get the Alien Flop shirt. There's many shirts available, but yeah, I'm still thinking about setting up the La Pared one, which is Spanish word for wall, which is, of course, Diego Llorente, because he is just like a wall. You just can't get past him. He's an exceptional centre-back.
As you can probably tell, Jack and Dan, we are completely shameless when it comes to self-promotion, but we don't try and hide it. We're just
you got to respect the hustle.
It's all good.
It's all about the hustle.
Yeah,
I'll go to you first, Dan. I mean, obviously, last time we spoke, Southampton were above us in the table. It was all looking good for Southampton at the time. Obviously, Joe wasn't too happy about Ralph Hasenhüttl crying after this Liverpool game. You'll probably remember. What's gone wrong then since we last spoke?
I mean, since we last spoke, I think that Liverpool game was our only league win in 2021. So we were kind of in the middle of our downfall, really. But yeah, it's mad to think that, God, 2-3 months ago, you guys were below us. I mean, for a run this bad, I think it's, we're beyond the point of blaming injuries, bad luck with refereeing decisions, managerial sort of naivety, if you like. I think just everything's gone wrong. Everything you can think of has gone wrong. We've not had the rub of the green, but at the same time, we've just been poor. We've lacked quality. We've been very naive, and you compare it to that first half of the season, it's almost like we've run out of steam 5 months too early. We were brilliant up until that Liverpool game where we won, and I think we were sixth then, and it kind of just went downhill from there. If you look at the teams we've faced, I mean, it's pretty much half of a Premier League season now. But after the Liverpool game, I think we went on a run of 5 consecutive defeats, if I'm not mistaken. And some of those were good sides, Man United, Villa were in form at the time. But then you're losing away to Newcastle, and they had 9 men. Just games like that where it was so poor. And then since the Leeds game, it's kind of we've not really kicked on. We had a cup run though, got ourselves to the semi-final. That's kind of happened, and disappointing to have not shown up at Wembley last month. And obviously, well done to Leicester. It was nice to see them win the cup, in my opinion. Yesterday,
it was brilliant.
It was so good. But there was the thought in the mind where it could have been, it could have been Saints if we'd shown up on the day. But the cup run's definitely been the highlight. But Now, if you look at the last week, 2 home wins, okay, against Crystal Palace and Fulham sides on paper, we'd definitely be saying we should be beating. But 2-3-1 wins, you know, we've not been scoring many goals this year. It's been a bit more positive. You know, we're looking a bit more like the team that was getting themselves to the top of the league back in October, November time. So, yeah, I think we're on course for a strong end to the season now. Hopefully, against 2 better sides in West Ham and you guys. But I think we can pick up a couple of results to finish the season off quite nicely.
If you remember, Oscar, we were chatting with Dan, and I was trying to get Dan and I feel so bad now. I forgot his name.
Matt from Matchday
Blog. My apologies. I would try to get used to say it because at the time there were still Leeds fans that were worried about relegation, if you remember. And I was saying to them, honestly, tell these, please, because you were not concerned whatsoever. And the mad thing is, we're now what, 10th in the table, sitting pretty. It's been a great season for Leeds since Sanet and yous have gone the other way. Is Ralph still the man? Because I can't. I just don't buy it.
I mean, if I cut in first, for me, yeah, I'm still behind him. But there's definitely been examples of just, I've used the word already, but naivety. It has been naivety when he's making his substitutions, who he's starting, you know, in-game management. I mean, we're not anymore, thank God, to Brighton, but we're one of the worst sides in terms of points dropped from winning positions. And then for that stat, you do have to look at the manager and how he's managing the team. I'm sure Jack's got plenty to say on the matter as well.
Yeah, I think that it was, to be honest, it was the Leeds game when he started we didn't start Danny or Takamina after the really good performance against Chelsea. It was like, why didn't he do that? Why is he? It felt like he disrespected you a little bit in the sense he didn't put out the players, and you kind of punish us for that. And that was the real start for me. I was like, oh, there's no excuse for this today. That is Ralph's fault, and it's happened a few times. Especially it was the Spurs match a couple of weeks ago when he took Danny off and brought on a central midfielder, and you're like, why'd you do that? we were attacking, we were playing really well, and then he does stuff like that. But he is still very much the man for me. I think there's so much that's built around him now at the club and an ethos of playing and something that we're working towards. I'm that guy. If I could see progression and something we're working towards, okay, that progression took a big hit after Christmas. It wasn't fun. But I still, even now when we got the players back and everyone's on the pitch and everyone's fully fit, I can see what the plan is and I can understand. So I am fully behind him. But it's when he makes those decisions that it's like, it's going to be hard to defend him. Like, especially when you're on the stream, you're like, I know I'm going to have to defend him this week. I know I'm going to have to stick up for this man this week, and I don't really have a case for it. But the past 2 games have been great, so it's okay.
He's been here 2.5 years, and I don't think you can still say that he's been backed in the transfer window. I don't think financially he has been backed. You do wonder whether he had 150 million pound kitty to play with in the summer. You know, who would he bring in? He's already said, you know, if he was given the backing financially, he'd buy 11 new players. But it's just not realistic with our resources right now. So you do wonder, you know, he signed a 4-year contract last year. He's got 3 years left on that now. It's a case. The club will have to make a decision. It'll be back him, and if we're sort of around the relegation zone around Christmas time, they're going to have to make a decision as to whether they stick with him or make a sort of backward step almost and do what we did before and get a Mark Hughes figure in again to keep us up. That's the worrying position in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the only argument that I can usually throw at people is who would you replace him with? And it is the worst list of names.
Who is out there right now that first of all would come and is a realistic shout, and second of all would take the club forward? Because that's what we were saying when we sacked Claude Puel 3-4 years ago. We went for a new guy, Mauricio Pellegrini. I hadn't really heard of him, but he'd had a good year in Spain, and he took us down. He almost took us down. He took us down in the table. We almost actually went down, and we had to take a backward step. We had to go for a Mark Hughes figure who was uninspiring, but ground out results. I don't know who we'd go for if he was to go. I think he's still the man for now.
Big Sam might want another Prem job now. He's took West Brom down.
But that's the sort of manager.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. You will have old farts who will go, oh, but Big Sam, he's proven in the Premier League. Ralph is the best we've got right now, in my opinion, by a country mile.
There was a point where during the bad run where I still saw articles like about Ralph maybe going to Dortmund or somewhere crazy. Like I'm seeing these articles, but I'm still getting these arguments that he's not worth anything. It's like he is worth something. There just needs to be an investment in him. And with the ethos of 12 million players, it's not really backing the man.
He was linked with the Bayern job. If he'd gotten that Bayern job, I think he would have done really well.
I mean, Dan, when you say that, just interested when Hasenhüttl actually said that about the 11 new players. Was that this season he said that?
Yeah, it was. I think it was around January time. I mean,
when you went on the bad run, by any chance?
I mean, no. By that point, I think we probably lost 1 or 2 games. But,
but if you're a player and you're hearing your manager say that's all I was trying to kind of get at, thinking.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's an example of bad management.
Yes, I think for Southampton, those 11 players aren't so much starters, but we don't have any other fullbacks apart from the ones you see. We're currently playing a centre back. We're playing 3 centre backs with this really Jack Stevens is playing this really crazy position right now, where he's playing a centre back, but it's in the fullback position, and he just drifts every time. It's been all right. He's been pretty good.
I think he's done all right.
He's done really well. But yeah, there's just such a lack of depth in our squad, and there does need to be a huge overhaul. And there are so many players on our books that we need to get rid of. And what seemed to happen this summer is that we got rid of a lot of people. But there was 2 players that in Valerie and Haskins, where you're like, okay, they're not the best players, but we don't have any other fullbacks. So why did you send them both out on loan? Yeah, and it just seemed to be like a game of, when you play FIFA and I'll put all these cheap players on sale, and then you just kind of forget about it, and you go back, you think, oh no, I have no more reserves. That's kind of what's happened.
It was. I think he risked it. I think he thought he was going to get. Maitland-Niles was the main name, and I think he was set on the fact that we were going to get someone like him in, and it just didn't happen. And then you kind of think, oh shit, where are we going now? Are we backwards? Obviously, you've seen backwards. We got in. Bertrand's been out for the last handful of games, and he's not going to play for us again. So we're playing, like Jack mentioned, we're kind of playing a makeshift, back 4. Walker Peters has had his fair share of injuries, hasn't he, as well? So it's he needs to be backed. I think I don't want to get too sort of hyperbolic or anything, but I do think they need to get it right this summer, because if they don't, if they don't, there's one way back forward, and it's backwards.
I think this season for a lot of clubs has been like a harsh lesson in a lot of things, and so this summer a lot of clubs need to make up for it. And I think with Southampton, there's clear goals to achieve over the summer. And if we get to January and we're not seeing anything, it's going to be hard work for anybody to defend anybody at the club. So it is all about this summer for us, really, and that is kind of why these last few games have been. We just need to get through these, because we need to know what's going on in the summer. All these rumors that you hear. I don't think Danny's leaving us this summer, honestly.
No, I don't.
I do. Do you not?
No.
I think he's going to sign the contract, whether it's 2 years, 3 years, whatever. I think he'll sign the contract and have another year. And then I think Danny Ings is in a very good position at this football club. That's the thing. And I think he knows that. I do think he knows that, he's, there's been so many comparisons to, Harry Kane, and whether Harry Kane needs to leave Spurs to go on and to bigger things. Ings had that shot at a big club. And okay, he was injured for most of the time, but he's from here. He's a fan. He's worshipped. He's absolutely adored by the fan base.
Do you not think, though, Dan?
Go for it.
He'd want another go, because obviously at Liverpool, to be fair, when he actually was on the pitch, being from near the area,
a good player.
A lot of Liverpool fans I know said he actually, I'm not surprised he did well at Southampton. They were saying to me,
he's well regarded. If you speak every time Southampton play Liverpool, Klopp brings up Ings and how much they're fond of him. But I do think if he's going to make a move to a big club again, I think it would have to be this summer, because he's 28 now, I think. So he's probably got that one move in him. But you see the clubs linked with him, and it's basically, from what I've seen, it's pretty much the whole top half of the Premier League almost. It's like this week we've seen West Ham and Everton come in. He'd never go to Everton, by the way, or West Ham. That just cannot happen. It would have to be Man City. I'd say it'd have to be probably Man City, Spurs, Chelsea, probably one of those 3. I don't think he'd go to United. I don't think he definitely wouldn't go to Everton or West Ham. So it's about whether he wants to be on the bench every now and then for City? You know, does he want to be on the bench? Does he want to come off the bench for Champions League? Or does he want to be regularly starting, scoring 10, 15 goals for his boyhood club?
I'll be honest, when Cavani signed that contract for United, I did kind of think he might go to United now, because Cavani's going to want a short certain amount of games, but he's quite injury prone. I feel it's like one of the two Manchester clubs that if he goes. But, in the fan forum, Martin Semmens says he's going to retire at Southampton. And if they say it at a fans forum, it's absolutely true. And you can take that to the bank.
Yeah, that is true.
But
Brilliant.
Joe, from an outsider looking in, I actually look at Tottenham. If Kane goes, because we've said before about Kane possibly going to the other side of the Pennines.
I think he will, yeah.
I
don't know if it'll be this year.
Could Ings go and fill in the Kane void? Just put it out there. I think it's a chance Ings goes, just from an outsider looking in.
I think from an outsider, I think it all depends. There could be a domino effect. It all depends on who. If Kane does move and does go, then it creates a bit of a vacuum and a bit of a domino effect, and everyone's like, right, he'll go there. I think City would be a great shout, But again, I think I agree with Dan in that he's not going to be starting. We know that Pep likes to play with that false nine, and does he see Ings as, when he chooses to use Aguero or a Jesus, does he, we know Aguero's probably going to go to Barca, so is he going to have a bit part role, or would he maybe, if Aguero was the player he was a couple of seasons ago, maybe we would have seen a lot more of him this season? Probably would have, but I still think Pep sort of favours that false nine, so he's not going to be starting week in, week out, is he? Chelsea?
I'm not sure Ings is good enough for, just to be honest.
Do you not think?
I don't know really. I think last season, I've probably been saying, not a problem at all. But I don't know. I think when you got like a Haaland and that lot on the market, Lukaku, Kane, I don't think he's at that level. Personally speaking,
it's nothing new for Southampton Football Club to have their star men linked with big moves away. But the difference, from my personal opinion anyway, this feels different to any sort of Mane transfer rumour or Van Dijk transfer rumour. When Mane, Van Dijk, all of those players a couple of years ago went off, we just knew they were going to go. It was clear. Mane was a young, bright prospect. Liverpool had been linked before. It was quite obvious. Van Dijk had been forced to train with the under-23s, hardly made any sort of appearance that first half of the season. It doesn't feel like that. That's the difference, in my opinion, anyway. It does feel like we've got a player who wants to stay, but at the same time, if he's going to sign the contract, it obviously has to be on his terms. And if the move away is what he's going to do, it has to be the right move, and he knows that, I think.
Yeah, that's why Spurs, for me, do you think they're going to finish in the Champions League spot?
I don't.
I don't think they're finishing top four.
I think they're gonna. I think they might get that Conference League spot, or not even that. I genuinely think Liverpool might pip them to whatever European. I haven't looked at the table after today's results.
It's Tottenham. Obviously, Everton have just lost to Sheffield United 1-0. By the way,
Jesus Christ!
I know
that's reeks.
Yeah, it's brutal, isn't it? Tottenham and West Ham are in 6th and 7th. 7th's that European Conference, so it might end up that Liverpool might get in ahead of Chelsea, possibly with 2 games left, and then Chelsea and Tottenham get Europa League, and then West Ham stay in 7th. I don't know. West Ham seem to be. But
end of the day, Spurs aren't getting Champions League. Let's
no, they're not. No.
Yeah, so when you take them out, it is kind of City and United left of the teams he would probably go to. So I just don't see it happening. Why would you want to leave the South Coast? It's beautiful down here. It's the English Riviera. Everyone knows that.
It is lovely. It is a lovely part of the country. Not gonna lie. The weather more than anything. It's like the French weather is what you get. It's like 30 degrees, isn't it? Most days in Southampton, in Hampshire. There,
not today. Just not today or the last 2 weeks, but.
Yeah, make sure you catch our Instagram tomorrow at the game when you see what the weather's really like. It's gonna be.
Do you think, guys? Do you expect the home support to have any impact tomorrow? Because it's going to be. It is. I suppose you guys, though, like we were saying off air, you have had fans already. Leeds have not actually had them because we were in Tier 3, so it never happened. But did you see any sort of positive impact when you were in the ground? And with you being there Tuesday, do you think it'll have any sort of impact?
From my perspective, Tuesday will definitely give more of an impact if it is going to, only because the two games where we had fans, it was only 2,000. I mean, from what I heard from people who went, like, it was a decent noise, but it was Sheffield United when they were just, I mean, they are still poor. I know they've won today, but they were just destined to finish bottom, and we went and won the game 3-0. And I think without fans, it would have probably been a similar result. And then the other one was Man City. We played quite well in, and we lost 1-0. So I'd like to think 8,000 fans in a 30,000 seat stadium could give you a decent boost. And we'll need it, you know. We've had 3 home games in a row. This is by far the most tough out of the 3. And so if we are going to get a boost from the fans, we needed it for Leeds. So yeah, I'm optimistic that the fans can get on side and give the players a push.
Oh, you, Jack?
Yeah, it's only, I don't know, it was the Leicester game that made me go, oh, it's so important, isn't it? It's the FA Cup final. I was watching them celebrate afterwards, and I thought, oh, it's better, isn't it? We've it so much, and I can't imagine how much they've missed it on the pitch. So 8,000 is significant. And I'm pretty loud by myself anyway. I get told off all the time doing these podcasts, you know. So I really do think it'll make a difference tomorrow. And it's going to feel like it for everyone. You see what an emotional man Ralph is. You know, some people have a real problem with that. I didn't at the time, but the results afterwards does make it seem maybe it wasn't the best idea. But
he'll start crying just when he sees the fans in the ground. He'll be crying before the game kicks off.
I'll start crying when I see Ralph. Like, everything involved. You know, I've not had a Five Guys in a long time, so I can't wait to get there. It's going to be a whole thing. I'm just excited
it's
about
the whole routine. The whole routine, yeah.
It's going to, you know. Dan, I'm probably going to see you from a distance and wait. I cry as well. I'm going to be crying a lot on Tuesday. So
I can't wait to park at Charlotte's Place, mate. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Chef's to that, but
I know
this is our first 2 wins in a row since December. So you know, if history tells us anything, we are gonna need to make a difference to push them up a gear tomorrow on Tuesday. I don't know why I keep trying to say tomorrow, but I really do think. Hopefully, I really do think we'll make a difference on Tuesday. Just gotta do it. I've been practicing all my chants at home in the mirror. I'm great at them now.
What is interesting though that's come up this week is this has been our best season in terms of home form since Koeman left, and you do wonder whether no fans affects that.
Yeah,
because you know, Jack, I'm sure Jack will agree with me. There were times where fans were getting quite toxic's quite extreme word, but it did feel at times when games weren't going the right way that fans could, you know, they could switch quite quickly and get quite nasty. And
the way I've seen our fans boo back pass him, the form that we were on, it wouldn't have been a great place to have been. There were times this season where I was this would have been terrible if that we were here this season. You know, certain things, just like, you know, just the way that we were playing, the way that we were losing possession, and the poor passing, that route, like St. Mary's gets aggravated pretty quickly. We're pretty, you know, not in the good sense either. We don't like a game, we'll let you know. But this time round, we've not been there for so long. I think everyone's just so hyped to be back.
I hope so. I really hope so, because I'll be incredibly frustrated if Stevens has a dodgy back pass and everyone's just saying, like, you know, starts effing and jeffing at him. And it's like, we've been away for 15 months. Just enjoy it. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. Jack Stevens back passes that I probably would get a bit feisty about that.
Do you know what though? Like you saw, because for me, Arteta's probably still not in a job. West Ham are not in a European push, and Corey will disagree with me as a West Ham fan who we have on regularly, but them getting Moyes, like at the start of the season, the fan would have been all over that, and they wouldn't have had the start that they had. And like you've said,
I agree.
The players are given that. Well, they've got no one there to get on the back when they are making these, you know, decisions. They're, you know, persisting, like going back or whatever. You know, they're given time to. The managers have. I suppose it's been better for them because they have. I mean, the Arteta one's a perfect example. I think the fans at Arsenal would have made. Well, they very rarely make noise, but you know what I'm saying. They'd have
banners
tried
would have been
to.
out, wouldn't they? The banners, Arteta out would have been out and actually visible in the ground, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So,
but at the same time, you know, West Ham would have had nearly as good as home form this year if fans were there. You've seen the protests. You've seen, you know, we've been there before, and it's been a nasty place once West Ham aren't playing well, especially last season when we went. I mean, in the end, they won the game, but when we equalised and they were in relegation fit, it switched like that. It was not nice.
Start fighting each other and that, don't they? You fucking cunt. You know
they're not
the best like. Sorry.
But that is.
Yeah.
I do agree.
Yeah.
I do agree.
They do know, man. They start eating each other, man. Madness.
It's true.
Grabbing hold of the young'un and that. What? You know what I mean?
They may forget weapons, man. They fly.
I think first goal's massive Tuesday, though. I think if Leeds did score first, I do think. I think if you score first, I'm very concerned because obviously the crowd will be up. We won't be used to that this season in terms of atmosphere. Obviously, I don't know if it'd be different. It'll be different. I think
I don't know, Oscar. You were just saying about points from losing, losing
winning positions. Winning positions. Yeah. I mean, we've had a few comebacks recently. I mean, we came back to beat Palace, came back from 2-0 down to beat Burnley a couple of weeks ago. So we'll see. I mean, and then we dropped 2 against Leicester, so it evens itself out, I guess.
You should get really scared if we score a second. That's when.
I agree.
We've only got 1. You've probably got a chance, but we get 2. You've still got a chance, but it's better for us.
Yeah.
The 3-1 scoreline for 2 weeks in a row, that proves that absolutely, because we're like, oh, actually, we needed 1 more to get past this because 2 isn't enough ever.
Yeah, Saturday was a good example of that, definitely.
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, in terms of danger men, who would you be talking about from the Southampton point of view in terms of who we should be fearing going into this game? I think Teller was pretty impressive last time until he decided to take a dive over the beautiful man that is Diego Llorente. I mean, anyone who kind of stands out for you, Jack, in recent weeks that we should be fearful of?
I get a lot of stick for saying Taka Minamino because he just runs into trouble an awful lot. He does run into trouble all the time, but it's the way he pulls certain players into different positions and takes defenders away. I think I just love me a Japanese player. I don't know why. Him and Yoshida, they've just got a massive soft spot in my heart for them. So I always say look out for him. But it's Danny, innit? It's Danny and Shea, and you've just got to be scared of them because if they hit the ball not at the goalkeeper, it's going in. That's the only stick to that is if a lot of time our players like to hit it straight at a goalkeeper.
Unless it's Bailey Peacock-Farrell at Burnley, you're not going to score.
Yeah. That's been Nathan Teller's sort of, Nathan Teller's been busting through defence and playing some great stuff, but his shots and that goal have been pretty poor. I think this is the first one that the one that went in was the one that most likely to go in.
Nan could have scored that, mate. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Come on. It was a good. It was.
That's all it needed to be, though. But that's confident. So now he's got 1. I'll be more confident in him. He does need to take some of the quote unquote diving out of the game a little bit. But when you've got James Ward-Prowse on the team, I want every free kick available to me.
Yeah.
So do what you want, pal.
Vestergaard's height on set pieces worries me a little bit. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, our conversion from set piece. Ward-Prowse has just been really on a tear this season. Well, I think he's on 8 goals this season, which is
8 goals, something like 7 assists,
and he's played every minute. He is just a beast.
Could he go? Could he possibly be in terms of the top 6?
No,
you don't think?
Not this
top
summer.
16?
No,
won't fancy him.
No, I think he's got definitely 1 more season at Saints, if not more. He's on a 5-year contract last summer. I think he'll go to the Euros. Whether he'll play, we'll obviously have to see. And that, you could say if he has a good summer for England and they have a good summer, that would put him in the shop window. But I think given his affiliation with the club, he's got at least another year in him. Definitely.
He's going to be our Mark Noble. He's going to retire with us. He's going to be our boy forever.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't really want him to play at the Euros, because I don't want people to see how good he is. Maybe 1 or 2 free kicks, you know. You remember that Joe Cole volley against Sweden in that World Cup where it was just that one thing and he sucked for the rest of the time? Just give him that. Let him go on pitch, score a screamer, and we never see him on that pitch again. Brilliant.
If he scores the winner against Scotland, or you know, from a free kick, or you know, that can be his moment. You know, that can be his time in an England shirt.
Exactly. Busting one against Shane McAdams. But Prowse is always one to look out for. And then Kyle Walker-Peters on the wing. He's got so much pace to him, and he brings so much to the team. That's like you said, that Nutella goal was pretty much his assist. Really, it looked great. Was it his assist? Or was it Theo? Was it him?
Yeah, no, it was Kyle. Yeah, it was Kyle. Yeah.
Does Minamino still wear them gloves, by the way? Just remember last time he had like these like
Michael Jackson gloves, weren't they?
Yeah. It was like I was thinking, what's that all about?
I'm sure he does, and for me, I love a little bit of accessorising on the pitch. You give me a nice hairband, Edgar Davids glasses. Oh, they just pull off a player's look sometimes. They really do just a chef's kiss to that boy.
He didn't pull it off very well, Jack. I'm sorry.
How dare you?
In the cold rain of Ellen Road in the middle of the winter, it was not a good look having those gloves on. That's all I'm going to say.
But that's the Northerners in us, that we see.
Gloves are a disgrace on the pitch.
They're not just gloves. They're like flashy gloves. Like, what's going on there? Do you know what I mean?
Now, you're lucky they weren't bejeweled, because there are other tiers to that, and he could take it to those levels. And I would happily take it.
Just like MJ.
Added a few rhinestones. Added a few sequins.
Yeah, but that's what I think when I see Jamie Vardy when he has his hand wrapped up. I think, that's just an MJ. That's what that is.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Dan, anyone who you'd say stands out as someone we should be looking at?
I think Jack's hit the nail on the head. I do think it completely depends on who's involved. I'd say probably going to see a very similar lineup to the one against Palace and Fulham. I do like the fact that Jack's very keen on Minamino. I want to be keen on him. I really do.
Mate, just get keen with him. Be on my side.
But he needs to back up. His movement's brilliant, by the way. I do agree with that. But especially it was yesterday, wasn't it, when we played Fulham, and you got Teller on the bench. Eventually, he did come on and he scored and he was brilliant. You do feel like there are better players available, and for me, I'm still kind of clueless as to why we brought him in on loan. And there was talk about Ralph's admired him since he was at Salzburg and he became available, so he took the chance. But at the time, it wasn't an area we needed. But in terms of any other players, no, I think Jack's mentioned them all. I think if it's his lucky 1 in 30, Nathan Redmond might show up. He's one of those players where for 15, 20 games he's very average, and then he might just show up and have a worldie. But yeah, Ings and Adams, when they're playing together, they're dynamite. I think they're brilliant, and I think that's another reason why Ings should be, or we all want Ings to sign the contract. Obviously himself, he's got brilliant quality, he scores the goals, but this season his partnership with Adams has definitely kicked on. And I think Shea's been subject to a bit of harsh criticism. Now he's scored his 9th Premier League goal.
9 now.
Yeah, he's on 9 in the Premier League. And the way some fans have spoken about him this year, you'd think he's scored maybe 1 or 2. He's inconsistent, don't get me wrong, but his work on the ball, his hold-up play, it's brilliant. And that's why he complements Danny quite well, in my opinion. So I think the fact that we've got now, it looks like after a couple of games, a fully fit Danny Ings and a Shea Adams that's hit a bit of form with 2 goals in a week, they're the danger men, in my opinion. And then you've got Teller, Walcott, if he wants to show up, Redmond, Gineppo, Minamino in terms of wide men. Armstrong might play out wide. He's been brilliant this year.
To be fair, since he's gone into number 6, he's been great. He's been amazing at number 6 to fill in for Romeo.
I agree.
They've
got this little pivot going where Prowse and Armstrong are in sort of central positions, whereas Armstrong's been usually playing out on the right. And yeah, I was skeptical, but fair. He can play football though. Stuart Armstrong, he is brilliant.
Because he's a lawyer. That's why. It's because he's a lawyer. He's got that law degree, and it takes him to another level.
Yeah, definitely. He's got a bit more about him up here. But yeah, no, I think he's a very good player. I do. There are a lot of players I like in this team, regardless of how we've been playing this year. There are quite, from my perspective in the Premier League, it's been a while, definitely since there's been a squad where there've been this amount of players where I've actually really liked.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I really like everyone in our squad. I think there's a big problem. I actually really everyone's trouble, but actually,
I know.
That makes it more worrying why the form hasn't been there. It's like I like everyone, but they needs to be in a very certain position for it to work. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Do you know, obviously it's interesting you speak about Minamino, thanks. I remember he was in some good form leading up to that. He'd only recently come in and he got himself a couple of goals leading up to the Leeds game. Obviously, it's not gone well after that fact. So it's interesting to hear you say that. And Shea Adams obviously was linked with Leeds. And if anyone says anything bad towards a player, just turn around and say, listen, Bielsa was willing to sign off on him. And if Bielsa's willing to sign off on a player, then know that he's good or good enough. Do you know what I mean? I'd have loved Shea Adams to come to Leeds when we were close to getting him. I think
we got Augustin instead, though. We got Augustin instead.
Yeah, true. Actually, that sort of counteracts my argument, doesn't it? But then again, JKA was not is because he's broken now, but he was a great footballer at once upon a time. You don't play for the clubs that he did. But yeah, Shea Adams, really, really rare. And every time I've seen him, he's been decent, man. So he's someone that we need to be worried about, that's for sure. And of course, Danny Ings. But last time out, went pretty well, didn't it, Oscar? Last time out.
I'm getting a bit nervy about some of these comments coming in. Like, I'm seeing stuff about if they're making it, it's like, I'm going to miss all the Leeds goals in this lot because it's near the kickoff.
I know it's at 4 or 5. It's like, calm down.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Hang on. But I'm still confident, don't get me wrong, but I think it'll be closer than the last time we played. I do think Southampton have got that little bit of momentum winning. I know it's only 2 wins, but it's still that little bit of confidence, the fans in the ground as well. I still think we win this, to be honest, but yeah, I think it's going to be a tough game. I mean, I was speaking to Dan on Dan's channel in terms of the last time we played. I thought up until we scored, Southampton were probably the better team. At the start, they started that game really well. Certainly first half hour or so. I mean, I don't know if you'd agree with that, Joe. I thought the second half we took control after we scored. We could have won by 5 or 6, but that first half was quite a tense half. I don't know if you remember because the pitch was still quite new then as well. Everyone was slipping all over the place. It's like an ice rink.
Yeah, it's much. Well, I was going to say it's much better now, but it doesn't matter because we're not playing on it. But yeah, it is much better now. Yeah, look, mate. I think, like you said, the first goal with any Leeds United team is so important. And I was ramming it down your necks at half time on the watch along, but it is a stat there, and I don't believe in all this jinx tripe. And I say what I say it. And if Leeds United are leading at half time, Bielsa has still not lost a game or dropped any points. We've won every single game that we have been in front in the Premier League this season. And during his full tenure with us, we've never lost a game. We've had the odd draw, but when we're in front at half time, and naturally, we go from strength to strength. So like you say, with that game, it's like we've seen against Burnley at the weekend. It was 1-0, came out second half. It could have been, if the game had gone on, it was one of them. Like,
do you think the Burnley and Southampton games were pretty similar in terms of how they went?
Yeah, they were, mate. Yeah, but it's just once Leeds get in their groove, like, it is hard to stop them. It's madness. It is a madness because we're a newly promoted side. We've just come up, and I dare say, like the lads are probably looking at this saying it's going to be a tough test, which normally shouldn't be the case against a newly promoted side, really, if we compare with who else came up with us. But once we're in the groove, we go on. I just want to ask the lads because I think you mentioned it last time, Dan, and of course Matt, about being tired and the players looking a bit leggy under Ralph's training methods. And it's really interesting to hear you say that because Leeds, it's the opposite. We we do, these similar sort of methods, I'm assuming, in training, but they're at different beast mode levels of fitness. We've seen Rodrigo
no one does
now.
No other team does murder ball. No other team does murder ball. I looked into that. Jesus Christ.
It's madness, isn't it? It's mad. But you know what I'm saying, though, in that Ralph has them working at a really,
I agree.
high
Absolutely.
level rates, but you're dropping off.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was interesting because last season, obviously, we finished the season very, very strongly. You could argue that was partly because of restart, and we had that period. And I think over the lockdown, he made sure that the players were on very good fitness regimes in case the league did restart, which it obviously did. But yeah, I think it does feel almost like they've kind of hit a brick wall really just after Christmas, where they just run out of steam. But you still got players in there like James Ward-Prowse, for example, who's played every single minute. I think Nathan Redmond's got a pretty good. I think he's got a pretty good rate for the minutes as well. I think he's played quite a lot. But then you've got other players who have been in and out with injuries. Ingsy's been, he's had another season that's probably been overshadowed by injuries. Walker Peters, he's been in and out this second half of the season. Romeo obviously got a season-ending injury last time we played you guys. Just some key players in there. Vestergaard was out for 2 months. So, everyone's had injuries. We can all to pinpoint that, but it does feel like he might have, I don't know, I don't want to pinpoint and put fingers at Ralph, but it does feel like they almost did hit that brick wall almost. The high pressing, it was going so well at the first half of the season, it's kind of stagnated. But what I will say, last 2 games where we've won, and you could argue against Burnley as well, a little bit against Leicester, we've been seeing glimpses. Spurs first half, we've definitely been seeing glimpses of that press coming back. I think we've been playing some very good stuff again this last month or whatever in short bursts. Don't get me wrong, and the results haven't really backed that up, but there's definitely been glimpses there, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Even against Leicester, when we went down to 10 men, that was a better performance with 10 men than we've seen with some of the, every man being on the pitch. And we all know how bad Southampton are when they go down to 10 men. It usually goes pretty wrong for us. But
yeah,
the fitness
what normally happens, Jack?
Do you know what? Leicester's biggest ever win is? It's 10-0 against Portsmouth. That's a fact that everyone needs to remember.
He's not wrong.
I'm amazed. We got. Last time we spoke to Dan and Matt, I think Matt said, "Hang on, we're 40 minutes in, and you've not mentioned the fact that that Southampton have lost 9-0 twice in 2 years."
It's fine.
So we thought I mentioned it there.
What I'd say is, this time when it happened, it was better because I wasn't sat in the rain having it happen to me live. Instead, I was on the internet looking at people whilst they mugged me off doing it live. It was a lot better. Having a safety screen was a lot better. So it doesn't. Don't even need. I don't ever think about it apart from at least once or twice a day. So
yeah.
When the red card happened against Leicester, I got that cold chill up my spine. I thought,
it was set up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I swear to God, Sky wanted that. Honestly, they were in the earpiece of the ref. They wanted that so badly. Honestly, like all the pre-match and build up with the 9, just speak about the 9-0, and then 10 minutes. I mean, the Bertrand red card last time when we lost against Leicester with the 9-0 was 12th minute. This one was 10th minute. It felt set up.
Were you genuinely though getting shit of? Oh no! Like, did that come into your psyche?
I was sat in the pub watching it with my mate who's a Leicester fan as well. It was awful. And then,
I can imagine.
But then the thing was, suddenly Ralph made a substitution straight away.
Yep.
And he learned. That's one thing. Ralph's been subject to plenty of criticism over the last couple of months, but fair play, he actually learned. It took him two 9-0s, mine, but eventually he did learn. He did.
18 goals with no reply, but he got there in the end.
He got there in the end. That's the thing. I don't know what they teach in the Austrian coaching badges, but he got there in the end. So,
boys, do you think it's a madness that he was linked with these top jobs, or do you still think he's got that in his locker?
I think he's got it in his locker. You don't. I mean, when he took over RB Leipzig, they'd just been newly promoted. Obviously, they had shed loads of money pumped into them. But I think he came into that job having kept. I think it was Ingolstadt. I think he was at Ingolstadt, and he'd kept them up on a small budget. And they, Leipzig gave him the job. The first season they finished second. you know, and they were instantly getting themselves in the Champions League. Yes, we all know about the money that RB Leipzig have had and the players that they've purchased, but there was definitely an indication there that he was going to go on to be a top manager. And when he left Leipzig, he'd been offered the Bayern job. He came out and said, you know, they'd offered him the job, I think, before, I can't remember his name now, but before the guy who's just leaving came in, and he said he wasn't ready. He took the Southampton job. I still think to this day, at that point, he was taking a backward step, because where the club was, I know it was a project, fair enough, but where he'd been and where the club was at that point, I think we did very well to get him. And I mean, you've seen the football we've played when we were at our best. With the players we've had, he's brilliant. Like, he can get us to play some proper good football. At times, it was the best football I've seen. You know, better than Koeman and Pochettino at times, which is a big. I mean, in small bursts. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But I think we said it. It'd be hindsight's a brilliant thing. If he'd been backed in the 2.5 years that he's been here, we might be seeing a side that is knocking on the, where West Ham and Everton are. Yeah. We might do. I'd like to think we would be there, but I think, to answer your question, definitely, I think he's good enough after this job. I think he'd be going on to a bigger thing.
Yeah, we are the team that punched above their belt when signing him, and then we've brought him down to our level a little bit. Now, now we're just trying to find that balance, and that's what we said earlier. This summer is kind of you need to find the balance this summer. Otherwise, it'd be better for Ralph, and it won't be better for us. It'd be awful for us, but it will have to be a necessity. But I just love him. He just looks like the kind of guy I want to have a roast dinner with on the weekend. He's just a good guy. I can't
wait to see him. Oh my God, I can't wait to see him on Tuesday. That's the difference. I think you guys can definitely sympathise with Bielsa.
We can relate. I can relate. I can hear it, boys. Like, I'm not his biggest fan, but hearing you speak, I'm like, yeah, I get it.
We before Ralph, there were managers who made absolutely zero effort to build any sort of connection with the fan base. Koeman was ruthless. He was very good, but he was ruthless, and he had the odds, kind moment, if you like. But then you go on to your Puels, your Pellegrinos, your Mark Hughes. Claude Puel in particular, he just made absolutely no effort. He was just uninspiring. He seemed like a very nice guy. Don't get me wrong.
I remember him poorly.
He couldn't sleep last night to sleep, though, couldn't he, Claude Puel?
But the thing is, it tells you everything you need to know that Leicester fans were saying the exact same thing about him, that he was so dull and so uninspiring. Yeah, at times he got very good results. He took us to a cup final. We'll never forget that. But it's managers like that where, now Ralph's in and he's got a bit of character and a bit of passion. Fans relate. Fans like it. Fans want to see that from their manager.
Yeah, but Puel was, he didn't like James Ward-Prowse as a player. Jose Fonse, our captain, he left because he just never played him. Then when he went to Leicester, he did the same thing with Vardy. It's like, we don't like that guy, but now we've got this guy who likes us. Who he obviously, like we said, take a bit of a step down to come to us. He's got this passion. He's changed the club from the youth level up. I absolutely understand from the outside looking in the amount of times I see lists of who's bottled it this season, who's already underperformed, underachieved. And Ralph's always on this list. I'm like, I understand completely why you think that, but there's so many circumstances why that's not true. But it will take too long for me to explain it. So he needs to put it on the pitch.
Yeah,
and like I say, hopefully this summer is the summer he gets fully backed, and we see that. There's a lot of players to shift off. There's a lot of wages that we need to get off the books. And now we've apparently signed Theo Walcott on a 2-year deal. We can go anywhere. Wembley, here we come every year.
Bertrand's on his way, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not signing a contract. Yeah, so he's off out.
What I will say about not being backed and all that, the best signing the club could have made last summer was Ralph on a contract, and they gave him 4 years. At the time, that was better than any player, in my opinion. That was the best possible signing we could have made.
Absolutely.
What signing would you make then if you were in Ralph's position? You got 50 million to spend ish, something like that. 50
million. Cool.
Not on one player, but
sure. We need a left back. That's the priority. If we leave this transfer window coming up without 2 left backs and another backup for Walker Peters at right back, we're screwed. We're honestly screwed, because it's been putting square pegs in round holes or whatever round pegs in square holes for too long now. And then, to be fair, the starting 11, if everyone's fit and in form, is decent. I would say we've probably, in terms of centre back, Mohamed Salah, who's probably going to break through and take Bednarek's spot. I'd like to see that anyway, if he's shown glimpses, and then have him alongside Vestergaard.
Mm-hmm.
But then, apart from the left back area and strength in the starting 11, it's probably more about who we sell. So, if Vestergaard was to go, for example, and he has been linked, we'd need a new centre back. If Ings is going to go, we're going to need a new first choice striker. But based on what we've got now, it's about finding that young left back who can, be our first choice for the next 5 years, because that's what Bertrand was. That's what Walker-Peters looking likely to be. And then just back those players up, have some depth. We probably do need 2 left backs. We probably do need another right back. Oh, we definitely need another right back. We probably need another central midfielder. We probably need another. I could go on, but it's all. I think it's more about depth. I think it's about having that competitive squad as opposed to the starting 11. Because in my opinion, the starting 11 is quite good.
When they're fit, innit? When they're fit, and everyone's playing, yeah, definitely.
I like Vestergaard, to be honest. I like Vestergaard. There's, I think, whenever I watch Southampton, he's kind of stood out, kind of thing. He's massive. He's old school, isn't he, Vestergaard? He's aggressive. I like him. He's quite a nasty player, Vestergaard, I think.
He's so big, though. Oh, my days. I've seen him outside Tesco. Oh, my God, he's huge. He is so big.
I think it says a lot about the state of our squad, that when you asked us who you need to look out for, we said most of the squad, and then you said who do we need to replace, and there's a good chance we have to replace most of everyone. That's Southampton most summers. I don't know who we need to get, because there's a good chance everyone can go. We've been hurt a lot, and it's starting to show. But the names that I always see get linked to us. Brandon Williams gets a lot for United. We always say his name coming out, but I don't think that's the position we need. But it's the position we need. It's not the player we need. Yeah.
Jesus,
that's a bit of a dull signing, isn't it? Brandon Williams.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. That might be he might be the player who comes in as a first choice, and that's where there's a sense for the unknown. They have to get it spot on this window. Absolutely, it's so vital that they get it right.
Yeah, we can't get to January and be like, oh, they're still settling in. It's like, no, we need players that can come in and pretty much hit the ground running, because we're going to need it. We are going to need it. But it's hard to see who we want, because, like we said, our price point is they want to spend about 12 million, sort of 12, 13 million tops on players. It's like, what is that in today's football? I don't know what that is in today's market. The fact that Minamino, was it Seville put a 9 million bid into him? So I feel like, oh, that's like an R price range. But then I hear other bids of like 30. And it's like, I don't know what it is anymore. So
it's like a very good championship player, isn't it? To say 12 mil. Probably
and nowadays it is. But that's the thing. We've had bargains. Don't get me wrong. Kyle Walker-Peters was a bargain for 12 million. Armstrong a couple of years ago when we signed him for 7, that was a bargain. Ings, you could say for 20, that was a bargain. But I mean, I can't see us breaking our transfer record this summer, which is Ings for 20 million. For me, I can't see that happening this summer. I just don't know. I really don't know what they're gonna do. I hope they get it right. Don't get me wrong. I hope they get it right. But the thing is, they can go on and have a great start to the season next year like they did this year. But if they don't accumulate enough points by Christmas and then drop down again, they could literally drop down. I'm not going to mention the R word because we're not even there yet. But that's why they have to get it right, in my opinion, because we've seen how quickly they can drop off to such a big extent. If they don't get if they don't get it right this summer and they don't find the balance, they're gonna have a tough season next year.
You've seen it with teams this season, in terms of getting recruitment wrong. I mean, Sheffield United, look how comfortable they looked last year. I know, obviously, different. They're nowhere near as established as what Southampton were, but I don't think anyone would have really said Sheffield United will get. Maybe they'd struggle a little bit more, but not like completely just.
No one would have said Brewster would be on 0 goals at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
You never know.
Nobody said Chris Wilder would be out of the job at this point.
No, I agree.
A lot of crazy stuff at that club.
That's what I mean. It could, is that the risk now, do you think, Jack, that if they don't get this recruitment right, that and the form Southampton have been on since January, is that I don't think it will happen personally. I think I do rate Hasenhüttl, but is there a risk? Is there a risk if Ings goes or Vestergaard goes and you don't replace them with the quality? it could seriously drop off?
Southampton do, occasionally make a case of overachieving with what they've got. Especially when you look at this season. When we hit first, we were like, "What's going on here? And what's this? Why is this happening?" So, who in the Premier League nowadays, it's kind of hard to say that about anybody. But yeah, if it doesn't work, and there's a good chance January is going to be the thing. If we get to Christmas and we are kind of faltering again, if we're looking around relegations. The nice thing about this season, there was never really a fear of relegation in my mind. I thought we had done enough to do it. Yeah. We were never really floating about. And again, when you sort of look at where Leeds were when we played you last time, I was like, I don't think Leeds will get relegated because I know what a relegation form team looks like, and they don't play like this. So I feel confidence in what we've got. But if Danny goes. The problem if Danny goes, it takes a big effect on Adams because Adams is such a confidence player. He needs someone like Danny to boost him up because he's not quite at that level yet where he can do that by himself. He's not the main man kind of thing. He's not. He needs somebody else, and that definitely shows. I think Walcott on the pitch does actually help him a little bit, even though I don't think Walcott is amazing right now or was amazing in those games. But I do think he lifts Adams' spirit up a little bit. So we need him for a little longer.
Sorry to cut in, but I was just going to say, in terms of this season, we've also been very lucky that I think we've known for quite a while who the 3 teams to go down were going to be.
Yeah.
There's usually, I mean, if you look at last season, for example, it was Villa, West Ham, Watford. All of them could have gone down, or one of them could have out of the 3. There usually is that. You usually have one team that's destined to finish bottom. We've seen that with Sheffield United, okay, but West Brom and Fulham have been so below par for pretty much the whole season. We've kind of known, and it's been a bit like, okay, fine, you have got those 3 teams, because that's the worry when you're fighting relegation. Are there 3 teams worse than us?
Yeah,
this year, that obviously more, but even if we'd finished 17th, 100%, it would have been comfortable.
Yeah, definitely, it's mad because I think it's the first time in Premier League history that 3 teams have been relegated with 3 games left to go, isn't it? And then it's normally one that goes towards the end of the season, but it's an interesting one. From a Leeds perspective, obviously, I think last time Raf was pretty big on the agenda, Rafinha, but is there anyone from a Leeds perspective, have you seen anything of us recently? Is there anyone you guys are concerned about?
I like Dallas. I quite like Stuart Dallas. I think he's probably what Armstrong wants. Like, Armstrong's on the cusp, but Dallas has more goals. I'd compare them, not because their first name is both Stuart, but I like Dallas. I do like Dallas. I like Harrison. Obviously, Bamford's going to be a threat, but I think with Leeds, they've got what we want in the sense that they've got wingers who are wide men who contribute goals very often. I think you look at Harrison's tally this season, Dallas's tally this season. It's that next level. From our wide men, I think Redmond's got 3 or 4, Ginappo's got 1, Armstrong's got 4 or 5. It's that is the cut-off point. I think that's where we want to be next year with our wide men in terms of stats. So I like those 2. I think they're underrated players.
Yeah. Well, Jack Harrison's got the most goal involvement from midfield than any other English player in the league this season. There
you go,
which is insane. He's only second to Bruno Fernandes, which is insane, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Jack?
I had that Jack Harrison stat written down on my notes. I was like, that is absolutely crazy. And do you reckon he's a guy who can make it to Euros this summer, or is he way too far off the spectrum for everyone?
Yeah, he's way too far. He should be in the conversation, but I think the thing is...
competition, isn't it?
It's the competition, man. He can't go ahead of Foden. He can't go ahead of bloody Grealish. He can't go ahead of... You know what I mean? Sterling even, I don't know. Maybe it's too soon for him, but who knows if he continues in this vein. But
exactly. Another season, we never know. But was it Rodrigo scored 2 at the weekend, didn't he? And was it 1 against Spurs as well?
Yeah, 3-2 now. Yeah.
3-2. So that's always scary coming out, into a game. When you've got, we got Bamford and you got that, it's like, mind you, we've got Ings and Adams, so this isn't even match for it, isn't it? It's Harrison and Rodrigo from the games this week and against Spurs. Those are the 2 players. Like, cool, they're all right, aren't they? And then is Ayling's back in the team now? He's playing? Play yesterday. Yeah, you've just got some pretty good ballers, really, don't you? It's a bit annoying, really.
They do.
Leeds just team.
But this is the thing, though. Like when when you were talking about that 12 million and then I said I agreed with you can't get note for that. But then when I actually think about it, like our recruitment's been exceptional. We paid 13 million for Robin Koch, German international. We paid 17 million for Rafinha, which is insane. You know, we did pay top dollar for Rodrigo, 27, I think it was, but he was Spain's number 9 and he's got great pedigree. So you understand that sort of figure.
For sure.
Yeah, we've really done some great business. And I mean, Ilian Melier, I don't know what you guys think of him, but we paid 5 million for him. Fucking insane. He's a brilliant goalkeeper.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, I think a decent goalkeeper really makes a team in this league currently, and I think he has been he's really put you in at some matches. You know, he's really kept you in it. Yeah, wicked goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's where Southampton are looking likely to be holding back. You've got, we were up there with the Evertons, the West Hams, the Leicesters, the teams that you always thought, oh, who could break the top 6 with some of our recruitment. We never paid top dollar. In fairness, we've never really gone well and beyond. With I think Ings is still, like I said, I think for his 20 million price tag, he's still our record signing. Mane was 10 million, Van Dijk was 13 or whatever it was. There are good examples there, but you look at it now, and I look at, for example, like we could do with a goalkeeper, Sam Johnston. 20 million pounds. There is no way. So that Southampton probably should be in the conversation, but they don't have the resources. It'll be a Villa, it'll be a Leeds, it'll be an Everton. And that's where we're holding back now. That's where we've been held back for the last 2 years. And you do wonder, if we had that backing with Ralph as our manager, where could we be?
I guess the worry is, boys, that someone else does back him, Jack, and he moves on.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Someone else calling for that. I think for me the best signing of the summer was Martinez to Aston Villa, and you see that signing and how much he's changed that squad and how good Villa are when he's playing. It's like, oh, you do need that investment, and if someone's willing to give you that investment and be completely, and people can look at Ralph and see what he's done with the club and what he's set in place. And if another club's like, well, I want that, and I'm willing to back him. It's going to be difficult to say no, and you've just got to hope that he loves us enough not to, and that we're not stupid enough to be like, wow, look at the form this season. What would we be missing? It's like we'd be missing loads.
It's a club owned by an owner who wants to sell, but then we're. Like Jack mentioned, the fans forum. In the fans forum, it was also mentioned that by our CEO that he thought the club would have been moved on by now in terms of a new ownership. It hasn't happened. There's, at the time, we've got a Chinese guy who's invested a lot into different sport areas of sport in China. Football at the time was a massive up and coming thing. They've kind of stepped back away from it now. And so he wants to step back away from it now. He's not a bad guy in the sense that he's taking money out of the club, but he's not injecting it. And that's our problem. We're kind of spending what we build for ourselves. So in terms of transfer fees, in terms of sponsorship money, anything else that we kind of get for ourselves, sure, that will go into the transfer budget, but that's 30 million, 40 million pounds, and it's just not enough for a Premier League team at the moment.
We just got our biggest shirt sponsor ever, and I think it's like 14 million, is it?
I'll put that on a left back, mate, and then we'll be sound.
It's like when I saw that headline, like biggest shirt sponsor we've ever had, like, here we go, a bit of injection. You're like 14 million.
Sorry,
and the players get bonuses in Bitcoin. Dope.
It is that. It is literally, scampering around for the pennies, and you do that. It's just not sustainable, and that's the thing. I want to see us finish this season strongly, have a nice summer, and then we'll see how we do. But compared to, it's quite depressing in the sense that this time last season, obviously it was later in the year, but when we had 2 games left, I was buzzing. I was so excited for the summer. I was so excited for the new season. Obviously, it was different in the sense that we only had 6 weeks and we finished well, so it looked likely we were going to start strongly. But this summer,
needs to happen.
We are that now. We're like, right, next another 4 players. We're going to be content. We're going to be in Europe, man. That's where
that's it.
Anyway.
Europe, title contenders, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
and that's where we were. I mean, look, it depends who you ask. I think Europe was always going to be an optimistic shout, but there was definitely a sense that we were going to go on and start the season strong. Even the year before that, to be fair, after Ralph had come in and kept us up and we'd finished 16th, there was a sense that, okay, now he's got a summer full season in charge, and we didn't start well, but we finished brilliantly. And this season, it just doesn't feel like that for me anyway. This summer, I don't feel that inspiration. I feel like, there are teams who have gone and kicked on. I look at, I mean, Norwich, who knows? Norwich might go back down, but I do look at, Watford's record signings is Ismail Assar for 35 million. And I'm pretty sure they'll spend a bit of money. Norwich, that's a different example. So we'll see who wins the playoffs. But again, that might be 3 teams there who go above us in terms of ambition, and we might just get left behind. That is the worry.
Yeah, there's a lot of you see a lot of Saints fans asking for Joe out, but the reality of it is, what you need to be doing is putting adverts up for people who want to buy us. Because even the biggest rumor we've had is Gerard Lopez's name, the guy who owned Lille.
Yeah,
and he almost asked for half of what the asking price is.
And that's the difference. That's the problem. We've got an owner who wants to sell, but how much he pay for it, Jack? 200, 250 mil?
I think he paid 200, yeah. And they're
so
asking
already he's going to get half.
He's going to get half.
He'll get half of that with COVID, with everything. The club when he bought it, it just got to a cup final, 2 seasons in Europe. Now, I'd say we're probably worth half of that. So for him, it's whether you put your hands up and say, okay, it was a bad investment, I'm just going to have to accept it, or you hold out. But the thing is, from my perspective anyway, if he holds out much longer, he might be facing a £50 million club, because it's going to be a championship side. I hate to use the C word, but it is a possibility. I can't.
We're going to have words on Tuesday when I see you going on.
Yeah, I know.
Go on opposition channels, stuff like that.
I was wondering where you go when you said C word, then, Dan.
Yeah,
that's pure what we're talking about there. But no, I think everyone learned this summer the COVID transfer window wasn't what anybody thought it was going to be. I think prime example of that is Man United. Cavani's worked out brilliant for them, but in reality, when you look at it, you're like, that's not what they wanted to happen.
No,
and nothing went right for them. And if you think, obviously they don't. Well, they do spend money. I don't know what they complain about. They do have spend money, but you compare that to what Southampton spend and what we've got to have. Yeah. It's like, oh, it must have been really, really hard for them to deal with stuff that last summer. So you just got to hope that things level off a little bit this summer, and that we can do the business we want. I think in the fan forum they had said that they're already well underway of talking to people, and it's not a matter of who are we going to buy. It's when we're going to buy them. They did after that fan forum was very boosted up, but I just hope that does really mean that this summer they know what they're doing and they really do have big intentions.
The people who run Southampton Football Club are good people. I like our CEO. I like our head of recruitment. I like our director of whatever Toby Steele's role is. The people that get put in front of us at the fans forums that are, that speak English, that are the ones who kind of connect with the fans, if you like. I think they're good blokes and I think they're doing a good job. But they're clearly frustrated by the lack of funds, because I think they could do a good job, and it's all down to resources. But Martin Semmens, he was linked with Man United now that Ed Woodward's gone, and he said straight away, people who work here don't want to go to clubs like Man United. They want to, they get more pride from working at a club like Southampton, because if it goes well, if we're on small resources, then it looks like a better job well done. Where Man United is just easy, you get 100, 200, 300 million for the summer. So in that sense, we're in a good place. But yeah, I agree with Jack. It's obviously the sooner we're put up for sale, the better, really.
Good stuff.
Well, let's get some predictions in. I'll go.
Focus on the game.
It's
been really interesting. It's been really interesting.
I've
enjoyed it. We've had quite a lot of comments. So this is the up there with the best. So you've done well, lads. You've done well.
Really good.
Nice.
Been a really good chat. Is it as it was last time? Time. Jack, I mean, prediction-wise, Southampton versus Leeds with 8,000 Saints in there. What you thinking, mate?
Do you know what? Every part of me just wanted to be an absolute goal fest. But I'll be nice and safe for both sides, but in reality, I want it to be a goal fest for Southampton. Do you know what? I'm going to be really cheeky and go for another 3-1 and somehow do 3 in a row.
Nice.
I just feel it because
that'd be good.
That's the only way we can win. It's like a Southampton scoreline there. It's just like
2-1 is a Southampton scoreline. Yeah.
For everyone else, 2-1 is that result, but for us, it needs to be 3-1 because we are not secure at 2-1. So 3-1 to us. You know, another Danny Ings brace. That'd be lovely, and see the season out good.
From my point of view, I'm going to stick to what I said on my channel, and I'm going to go for a draw. But I said 1-1. Having thought about it, I think it could definitely be more of a goal fest. 2-2, maybe even a 3-3. But that's kind of unheard of. I'll go 2-2. I think it's unheard of for Southampton to win 3 home games in a row, especially in the space of a week.
But I'm there. We're there this time. Me and you are going to be there.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's where I do feel like, you know, are we going to take advantage of the boost from the fans? Because don't get me wrong, I think we're going to be loud. I think we'll make an atmosphere. I think we'll give the players a boost, and they'll be happy to have us on their side. It's just whether they can respond to that on the pitch against a very good Leeds side. We've seen that Leeds can go and beat Spurs, but also lose to Brighton. So I'm hoping it's our day, not Leeds day, and we can come away with the win. But I'll go for a draw. I think it'll be, you know, a good point for us if we get a draw.
Okay. Wayman?
2-0 Leeds. I think, 2-0 Leeds. I think Rodrigo, could he get a start maybe? I'd like to see it, I think. Maybe he won't. I
think he might. I think
you
there's
reckon?
a possibility. I think there's a possibility. The fact that 3 goals in 44 minutes, I think it is. I think since his time that he came on against Burnley, time he came against Tottenham. Yeah, I think it's possible. But I'm going to go 2-1.
This is a record that they speak about as well, and I've just been firing down their results this season. And other than the FA Cup, obviously, there has, you know, it's been not win. So I don't think they get their 3rd win on the bounce. So I think Leeds continue their rich vein of form, which is only 1 loss in 9. So yeah, I think we win this game 2-0. Fingers crossed anyway. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really good game, to be honest. I think it'll be a really open game. Both teams try and play. Both teams play the high line, high press. There'll be moments of absolute madness. I think hopefully more so Southampton than us. You mentioned Jack Stevens there. We'll wait and see. But I back us more defensively, to be honest. I think Llorente, Pascal. This is a game where before, because Llorente, Pascal played together last time we played. I think it was one of the first times they had played together. I think before, like, first half of the season, this is the game I don't really like, to be honest, Southampton. I'm thinking this might be a little bit too open for my liking. But I back us in terms of in both boxes over Southampton. But it'd be a really good game of football. I'm just going to go 2-1. I'm pretty confident. But I think some people maybe getting a little bit carried away.
Yes, I agree.
With some of the stuff I'm seeing. But no, there is fair enough. You can't blame people.
5-0, we're going to slap them up. I'm like, whoa, slow down.
The way they've been playing, though, you can't blame people. One defeat.
But that's the other thing. 2 wins against poor Palace and Fulham sides get Saints fans a bit giddy as well. It's like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, I'm fully biased. I refuse to go into a game and say Southampton are going to lose. I don't even do draws.
I'm like that. I do, like I said, I think the fans might help us in this one.
I mean, you did just say a draw, right? But yeah, fair play. I mean,
I said loss. I don't predict a loss. I never predict a loss. No, I don't do that. I will see you at 5 guys tomorrow, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Don't worry.
I think Dan thinks they're going to get beat now. I think the fact Dan said doesn't think they're going to lose.
Nah.
We'll
get something from the game. No, we'll get something. We've got 8,000 fans back. That's like a third.
8,000 is usually what's singing at St Mary's anyway, so that's all we need. We just need those.
That's so true. Yeah.
I'll rinse us a little bit. It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, I know.
Brilliant. Good stuff. Thank you, lad. Brilliant.
Guys, where can we find you, Jack? Where can we find you, man?
I'm just on Matchday Vlogs. I don't do anything else apart from ride on Mike's coattails. That's all I do. I just sit here and pretend I know what I'm talking about and give my gut reaction. So just come over the Matchday Vlogs and watch me be super biased.
Check it out, guys. Check it out. And Dan, where can we find you out?
The
Not
Saints
find you
view.
out. Find you, mate. That's just
Find
you
you,
out.
yeah, no,
Where can we find you, mate?
I'm sure everyone knew what you meant, mate. It's fine. The Saints view, yeah. So on YouTube, on Twitter, on any social platform, really. But yeah, no, Saints fan channel. We're not doing the live content, so definitely go to Matchday Vlogs for that. Obviously, you're at the game, aren't you? So not on Tuesday, but yeah, if you want live watch-alongs or anything, go to them. If you want our reviews after once the dust has settled a little bit.
Yeah, if you want like good reactions to it, go watch Dan. If you want idiots just saying something right at the moment it happens, come watch us.
Level head, yeah, I know, but
right.
Make sure you check both channels out.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jack knows that, but you did actually appear on Square Ball. I don't know if you Square Ball's just it's a fanzine, and they do what's it called? Is it the fans review? And basically what they do is they just go around and listen to all the other fan channels that we've played. And obviously you both were in that, actually, to be fair. So.
No. Nice. Thanks for that, guys. I love this little community that we're going into now. It's great.
I do think that's a good thing. Yeah.
I didn't get that.
We got picked up by an Everton one, and we got Rich Arlison mugging us off on Twitter. And as long as you're not doing that, as long as no Leeds players are coming after us, I love it. Say what you want. But if I see Bamford mugging me off, I'm coming down.
I'm row B as well. I'm row B in the away end on Tuesday. So if he's kind of scoring, does his little celebration, you'll see him on TV.
Nice.
So I don't want to be in pictures of Bamford celebrating or anything like that.
You've said it now, mate. You've said it already.
I know, I've jinxed it, I know. Consolation, maybe.
We'll wait and see. But guys, also we will have, of course, the usual big match preview tomorrow night.
Don't know time yet.
We're not even set what time.
We'll get back to you.
TBC on that. TBC on the time. But it will be tomorrow night, as it always is the night before the game. Obviously, Tuesday, we'll have the live lineups about 5 o'clock. Then 6 o'clock, we'll be going into quarter to 6, we're going into the watch along. Usual post-match stuff. And yeah, keep it locked, guys. Keep it locked to All Leeds TV. Check out the Saints View. Check out Matchday Vlogs. And we will see you later, guys. See you later, guys.